Hello again, grade 1. In today's lesson 12.9, we're going to learn about halves. Like imagine we have a piece of kiwi. This is a whole kiwi. A whole means a complete piece. It's one piece of kiwi and it is whole. But I don't want to eat a whole kiwi. I want only a half of it. So I'm gonna cut it in half. So this part, we call it a half. But when you cut a whole kiwi into two equal parts, you call each part a half. When you have two equal parts, you call them half. Halves is the plural word of half. And the L is silent, but when you want to make it the plural, you turn the F into a V. Halves. So, when you cut a whole kiwi into two equal shares or two equal parts, you call them halves. Now open with me page number 719 and listen to the story. Two friends share the sandwich. They want to share their sandwiches. So, how can they cut the sandwich so each gets an equal share? Well, we can cut it in half. But where is the line going to be? I can put the line here. And I cut the square sandwich into two equal triangles. Each triangle is equal to the other. These are equal shares. Or, can you give me another way of cutting the sandwich into two equal shares? Very good, I can make two rectangles. Cutting the square in half like this makes two equal rectangles. Open the next page. The two equal shares make one whole. So when you have a whole circle and you cut it into two equal shares, that means you cut it in half. And you have now two halves. Because they are two, they are plural, they are more than one, so we call them halves. Is the half larger or smaller than the whole? The half? Of course it is smaller. You cut the whole. You took only one part of it and you call it a half. Now it is smaller than the whole circle. Now let's do these questions. Question 1 and 2, we have two squares. In question 3 and 4, we have two rectangles. In all the shapes, we're going to draw a line to show halves. How can we cut these shapes into two equal shares for each to show halves? Where can we draw the lines? Here we have two corners. When you have a line connecting two corners in the square, you can make two equal triangles. So like this, you cut it in half. Or when you go half the way on the sides, use your ruler, make sure you're going half the way, and put a dot or an X or whatever mark you want to put in the middle of the side. And again, on the other side, on the facing side, do the same thing. Go to half of the line and put a circle or an X or any mark you want. Then connect the two marks with a straight line using your ruler. Like this, you cut the square into two equal shares. We call them two halves. Now for question number 3, we're gonna cut the rectangle. I can put the dots again in the middle of the sides and connect the two dots in a straight line to make two equal rectangles. In question 4, I want to put again in the middle of the sides to show you that you can cut it vertically or horizontally to make two equal rectangles. Make sure you go in the middle of the line, because if you go, like for example here, you're gonna make a very small rectangle and a much bigger rectangle, which of course are not equal, so they are not halves. They want me to show halves. Now for the next page, circle the shapes that show halves. And halves are equal share. So, is this two equal parts, two equal shares? If yes, you have to circle it because it shows half. Very good. Yes, it is. How about number 6? Why not? Very good. Very small, and another one bigger, much bigger. So obviously, in number 6, they are not halves. It doesn't show two equal shares. In number 7, very good. The circle is cut in half. Circle it. How about this square? Wonderful. From the corner to the corner, we show two equal triangles. In number 9, very good. Again, yes, two equal parts. Number 10, yes, equal halves. Number 11, yes, again, they are equal. In number 12, again, they are equal. In number 13, no, you have to go from the corner to the corner, also in a rectangle, to show two equal triangles. Like this, you didn't show equal parts. Now, move to question number 14. Use the picture, write numbers to solve. We have a picture here of a rectangle, and this rectangle is cut in half, exactly in the middle, to show two equal shares. So, the picture shows how many halves? Well, I have 1, 2 halves. So 2 halves. Now, how many equal shares? The halves are the equal shares. I can call them halves or equal shares. So the two equal shares make what? When you put them together, they make what? They make one whole. They make, again, one whole. Very good. Open the last page. Draw or write to solve. In number 15, color half of each shape. Only one half. So color half the circle, half the rectangle, and half the square. Coloring half a circle here means you colored only one part and you left the other part uncolored. And here, coloring half a rectangle, you colored the small square and the other equal square is uncolored. And half the square here is a triangle. Color only one triangle. Linus cut a circle into equal shares. He traced one of the parts. Only one he traced. That means like he drew it. He traced it on a piece of paper. Now, they want me to write, is it half or halves? Well, I can see only one part. And one, I call it a half. A half of a circle. But if I draw two halves, I'm gonna say halves because they are two. They are plural. This is only one, so it's half of a circle. Now the next question. Draw 3 different ways to show halves on this rectangle. I started in putting one line in the middle of the rectangle vertically like this. In the second one, I draw the line horizontally. And in the third one, I connected corner to corner to show two equal triangles inside the rectangle. In question 18, circle the shapes that show halves. Only those who show equal parts, and you can call them halves. This triangle, wonderful. It showed two smaller triangles inside. And this circle, excellent. How about this triangle? Why not? Because it doesn't show two equal parts. It shows different shapes, a triangle and trapezoid. And no way they are the same size or equal parts. And of course, this circle does not show halves.